Well, I'm sure that there'll be those who remember this Royal Enfield Constellation being here for a pretty comprehensive restoration not very long ago, and it's come back because it was showing signs of it, to be fair, when I had it here, but basically it seemed to have a slight problem with the left hand concentric carburetor. Now admittedly these machines wouldn't have had concentric carburetors in their day, but it arrived here with a split manifold with two concentric carburetors on it. But the problem that's been manifesting itself is that it's been starting very well on the right hand side, and sometimes you might have to run it for anywhere between 10 and 30 seconds to get the other side, the left hand side, to jump in and start running. And it also seemed to be very sensitive to the mixture screw, which had to be screwed almost right in. And having found a blocked pilot passageway in the left hand carburetor early on in the proceedings with this machine when it was running, I decided that perhaps the left hand carburetor was just faulty and something needed to be done about that. So what we did is I spoke to the owner, and we decided that as some Constellations had single monoblock carburetors on, that perhaps a brand new one would be the way to go. So we ordered and bought a brand new monoblock, Amel monoblock 389. It's in this box here and is probably going to be sent back, hopefully, for a refund. The reason being, when we put the single carburetor manifold on in place of the twin carb one we've got down there, I offered up the monoblock carburetor and found that it wouldn't fit. There wasn't enough room between the engine and the front of the toolbox. Obviously, Constellations that had single monoblock carburetors had different toolboxes. They must have done, because there's no way you'd get an Amel monoblock to fit in there. So plan B was, as they take up slightly less room, was to pick what we believe to be the best of the two concentric carburetors and use that as a single carburetor, because that, as you can see, just fits, although the bell mouth is rather close to the front panel of the toolbox. But nevertheless, we got it to fit, and obviously we only had to sort of reduce by 50% the number of throttle cables and choke cables we needed to use to get the thing on, and hopefully that would fix the problem. So I did all that, and the bike started within the first couple of kicks, actually, very promising. But it soon became evident that the left hand pot was still behaving as before, in that when you let it drop to a tick over speed, it was only ticking over on the right hand cylinder. As soon as you opened the throttle and picked up from tick over, the left one would jump in and run fine. We checked sparks. I even had the engine ticking over on the right hand side with the left hand plug removed, laying against the cylinder head, showing beautiful sparks. We tried closing the plug gap down. We changed the plug cap. I checked the points gaps. I changed the points gaps. I opened them up. I closed them down. Nothing would really help, and the best we could do was get it as it was before, when it had the two carburetors on it. So we've now got one carburetor known to be good, where the right hand side is running beautifully on it, the left hand side also, apart that it won't tick over, and obviously it's not pulling its weight at kick-starting speeds. So I've had to sort of grit my teeth. I really didn't think there was a problem with it, but what we're going to do, I'm going to speak to a man called Tony Cooper tomorrow with a view to sending this Magneto off to him. We got one set of points in the Magneto, one slip ring, two pickups. I've taken one pickup out and I've turned the Magneto by turning the engine very slowly and held a rag in there and made sure there's no dirt or grime in the slip ring. The pickup brush was a little bit sticky, the spring-loaded pickup brush. I thought, aha, this is it. So I sorted that out, got that clean and freed up and everything, and that's moving nicely, springing in and out, which it wasn't really doing before. I thought, we've got something here, put it all back together, still the same. So I'm finding it rather hard to sort of believe or accept even that the Magneto is at fault, but we've got equal compression on both cylinders, identical sort of compression pulses at the kickstart, good resistance over compression on both sides, and you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. And obviously it's got I fitted a new 2-in-1 exhaust system on it, a Siamese one, so that should all be okay as well. Like I say, it's hard to get my head around it really, but for some reason there's only the Magneto left. But I really can't understand why the Magneto, with one set of points in it, sparking on both plugs, could be the culprit. But I really don't think there's anything else left. And I know that the valves are seating well. I know the valve clearances are good. The timing is spot on. Mind you, if the timing is spot on for one, within a couple of degrees, I know that you can time one and perhaps be out by a few degrees on the other, but that's about all. Everything should be okay, but it isn't. And this is one, I don't mind if any armchair experts want to join in, but tomorrow I'm going to probably start taking the Magneto off to get boxed up and sent away. But ideas, anyone? Fill your boots, folks. Chime in with your comments. Maybe someone will throw some light on something. But I'm out of ideas, and as it stands, the Magneto, although apparently working fine, is going to be coming off tomorrow and going on a little holiday. So that's where we are with this one. I'm at a complete loss myself. It's obviously not carburetor related after all. I've often heard people say that if you think it sparks, it's carburetor, and if you think it's carburetor, it sparks. Well, in this case, I think those sayings could be right. But stick around, and hopefully it might take a few weeks before I get the Magneto back if I send it away. But I'm hoping that once the Magneto's been checked over and refurbished, that perhaps finally we'll have this thing starting easily and ticking over beautifully on 2 cylinders. And at the moment it'll only tick over on the one, it'll jump in on the other one straight away as soon as you open the throttle. But like I say, we're down to 1 carburetor now, and the 1 carburetor is doing fine for the right hand cylinder, but the left hand one is still running as before when we had 2 carburetors on it, and I thought the left hand carburetor was faulty. So there we are. Anyone who's interested, watch this space. We will at some point update this, and I'll hopefully be able to tell everybody what it was.